So I have started recording here. Now, today I'm going to bring another example of class and objects, instance variable, how constructor works, right? Another example, and then we have some automation activities that we will do, right? So this is the summary that I'm going to discuss. First of all, a little bit about class and objects, instance variable, constructor, right? In the object-oriented concept. Whatever we have discussed first, on top of that, this will be a new discussion, and then we will do few things in terms of we will be using test-ng today. Okay, in automation, right, in browser automation, we will be bringing a new topic today, test-ng, a new framework in, you know, in Selenium. Okay, so let me probably first half an hour we will be discussing this core Java thing, and then we will go for browser automation. All right, now, so classes and objects inside this project, right? We have created few examples, right, to show you, okay, um, how package works, right? If you haven't visited this video, these are very important discussion. You go through this video multiple times. I have clearly discussed by providing different examples like how these classes objects works, right? Now I am going to create a new project again, right? Again, it will be on classes and objects. Whenever you get chance, I will request you that you revisit this concept. Okay, it seems I'm in the wrong window, so file, new, and then project, and then what will be my project? It will be a Java project, right? And then in the Java project, I'll be naming my project as classes and objects 2, and then I'll say finish. Okay, and then here I'll get a source folder, and inside the source folder I will create a package. I'll create a package here. I'll give it the name of the whatever name it comes. I'll just add a word with it. See, okay, package, package. It doesn't matter how you do it. And inside there, I'll be creating a class. I'll name my class as rectangle. Rectangle, right? And normally I will add this word CLS rectangle, and I'll finish. Now, a rectangle has length and width. Is that correct? So I will have two instance variable, int, you know, int length, and then I'll have another variable width. Okay, length and width. Okay, now this length and width, if I want to have a constructor, my constructor will be, a constructor will have the same name, right? It will be this constructor. So you say public or default. Normally I'll put my constructor as public, and then, right, in the constructor I'll be putting, I'll initialize this variable. Let's say length will be 1, width will be 1. Okay, this is my initial value constructor. Okay, now, so here, let's say that then we are having and then I will have another variable here as my area, right? And normally I will initialize the area to 0. Okay, now let's say I have a method um, void calc area, now use area equal to what? Length times width, right? And then you have the area, and then you do a system of println statement. Area equal to area, right? Okay, now so this class, right, this is the class. Now let's create another class. Let's name it as my main. Let's say CLS my main. I'm going to include a main statement, main class there. Okay, so here this class that you have created, if you want to use any of this method that you have there, you will have to create an object, right? Let's say my obj equal to new. That's how you create object. Is that correct? Now if you do this my object dot, and what is the method that we have, you know, yeah, what is the method that we have written to calculate the area? I think calc area, right? This is the method that we have written. So if I execute now, this, area equal to 1. How? Because when we have declared this object, right, then the constructor was called. In the constructor we put length equal to 1, width equal to 1, area equal to 0, and then when we have called this method, then area equal to length times width, right? And then it is printing the area. Okay, that is how. You got any question up to this so far? No question, right, guys? Come up with question if you have any question. How you got area equal to 1? Okay, no question.
Number 10 void is by default is public void.
Yeah, by default, see, line number 10, right? By default, it is not public void. By default, it is default. Remember, in one class we have discussed, if you do not put any keyword, it is default. It's default. This method you will be able to call another. We have another method inside the same package. Then you will be able to call it. But if you have another package, you cannot call this. Right, let's say if you create another package here, by creating another package you will not be able to call this method because these are default type access specifier. You got it? Okay, now So what I am going to do, this is my, and this constructor, we are calling what type of constructor this? We are calling default constructor. It doesn't have any parameters. Okay. Now we are going to do a parameterized constructor. Okay. How? Right. So in parameterized constructor, what? Mhm.
Can you please write down top of that like the
Oh, sure, sure.
comment out default?
So this is a default constructor. This is a default constructor. Okay, this is a default constructor. Now, on top of the default constructor, we are going to write another constructor. We are going to write a parameterized constructor. If you have any question on this parameterized constructor, guys, bring your question. Until your concept is not clear, bring it. I want to see like how much it takes to make you understand this. Okay. Now, in parameterized constructor, again, public, and it will be same name, right? This CLS it will have the same name, and then we will have int value 1, or let's say int l, and then int width. Have two variables, right? And then I'm going to have it, and then I'm going to do now length. I'm going to put l, and width I'm going to put w. Okay, you got it, guys? Length l, width w. Okay. Now what will happen, right? What will happen? You will see that what will happen. So let's say that we are going to declare another variable here. Another object here. Let's say this is object 1. This is object 2. And remember, since we have previously we have only one constructor, default constructor, which is not taking any parameter. Now we have what? Now we have a parameterized constructor. We have an option. Can you see this constructor? It is taking two values, L and W, right? So now you have a parameterized constructor, and in the parameterized constructor, you can give two values. Here, I'm going to give my length as 10, my width as 5. Okay. Now what will happen when you declare the object with two values, right? Then when you declare this one, then it will call the default constructor because it doesn't have any parameter, right? But when you create the object in this way, now it is, we can do that because we have a constructor to facilitate that. Can you see we have the constructor that will take two values and put these two values L, like the when you supply the value from there, the first value 10 will be coming into, and it will be saved in L, and the other value that we have 5, that will be coming into, and it will be stored in W. And then you have length equal to L. So that means you, in your class variable, these are your class variable, you are putting these values, right? Now let's say that object 1 calc area. Now you have object 2. If you call calc area by object 2, right? By object 2, what will happen now? What will be the area? Area will be 50. If you call instead of here, if you call here, but
One, if you put two parameters, it will call the parameters constructor, right?
yeah, true. You got it? So let's say
Call the parameter constructor in either one.
either one, yeah. Right? Either one. But object one will always call the default constructor because object one is written in a way that it will not take any value. Object 2 is declared in a way that it will be take two values. So what will be printed? If I execute it now, what will be printed?
Print both of them because we call my object 2 and 1 both of them.
So first of all, what will for the first can you tell me like at what sequence what will it print? Can you help me in this?
Print area
15.
one. No, first it
I
will
think
print
15
50.
column.
Do
Then
that
second
area one.
1.
So first it will print 50 and then it will print 1. So can you see area equal to 50, area equal to 1. Now can you see when you are calling the calc area by object 2, right? Then when you are calling by object 2, then this calc area method, what is the length and width it is getting? No, when you call the calc area this method by object
10 and 50.
10 and 50
10
and
5.
when 10 and 5 when you are calling calc area by object 1, then what it is getting? It is area,
The default.
yeah, default length 1, width 1. Does it make sense now? Okay, let's say we have another object 3. Let's say we have object 3, and when you declare object 3, let's say you are putting 20 height and this one 10. Now if you call my obj dot my obj 3 dot calc area, now what will happen?
So first print 50, then 1,
Mhm.
then is 40, another 200, yeah.
200, right? You will see that
Matter which one we call first.
it depends like how you declare, how you have declared the object, and based on that it will
But
be
in a
called.
project, we just call one way, the default way or the parameter
In
the
a
way
project you declare it depending on your situation, you do it in multiple ways. Okay, here I'm giving different examples so that you understand it, how this constructor concept works. Okay, now so you understand now what is, like, can you see this L and W? These are local variable, and we are putting this value when you are putting, okay, length equal to L. Actually whatever we have in L, the value is going to the instance variable length. And this L, right, remember this L, where is it getting the value from? This L is getting the value from when you declare object. When you declare object, this L is getting value on that time. Are we clear about it, guys? Okay. Now,
it is more clear.
okay. Now, can you do me a favor? I want you to declare a object. Let's say that you know, you know, if you have a cube, right? If you have a cube, when you are considering rectangle, let me go to Google. If you see rectangle, and if you go to images, this is rectangle. It has only length and width, right? We get the area by multiplying length and width. Now, if it is a cube, right? If it is a if it is a cubic rectangle, then it will have length, height, and depth. These three things. Then you will be calculating area, length times depth times height. You will be multiplying these three things, right? You got it? When it is cubic object, then you will have to calculate, okay, area will be height times length times depth. You'll be multiplying these three things. Can you see volume equal to length times width times height, right? Now, will you be able to write your own cubical rectangle object, and then similar way, will you be able to initialize your instance variables and do whatever we did in this simple example? Will you be able to do that? Can you do that? I'm giving you 10 minutes. Now it is 11:16, right? I will be back at 11:30. I want you to see that you have written that cube example, and whatever I have written so far, you have you have declared multiple object with default constructor, parameterized constructor, right? And then you have called those. Can you take this 14 minutes to do that, guys? Okay, please start, and then I will be away for this 40 minutes, and I'll be back exactly at 11:30, and I want to see everyone has made progress. Okay, sounds good? Right, guys, we'll be back soon.
Happy Father's Day, Apple.
Thank you, Teddy. Thank you, both of you.
Wait, what is this?
This is a rectangle.
Wait, I only hear.
Hmm?
Hear
Recording, and I'm going to share my screen as well. Let me know when you can see my screen, guys. Can you see my screen? Okay. So first of all, let's consider that we have two test cases. Number one test case is, let's say that you will be visiting salesforce.com. You will be opening the application, and then you will be clicking, can you see the try for free? You will be clicking on the try for free link, and then you will be providing this information. I agree and start my free trial. Okay, number one. Number two will be, let's say here you will be giving username, password, all of this information, and let's say if I gave my information, right? Let's say tester one, right? LN, and then my email, let's say and then let's say tester. So give my name Zahir, and my last name is Buyan. Okay. And then I'm not going to give any phone number. Probably I'll have to give my phone number. Let's phone number and money, let's say I'm keeping this, and then employees, let's say 1 to 20 for example. I agree to the terms and condition and I start my free trial. Okay, let me see where it takes me. Okay, so here I have my portal, right? So okay, I do not want to try that. Let me skip that. So here now I'm logged in. I'm now logged in. So let me see if I click on this. Can you see add username? Right, add username. I'm going to click on that. Add username. So let me see like na11.salesforce.com. Oh, my battery is on. So na11. So let's say if I go to settings, and then can you see change my password? This is my email address, right? And I can create my password. So probably in my email, I got an email. Let me see if I get an email and if there is a password there. Yeah, I got an email and that's it. Verify my account. My username is xpdb and verify my account. And then I'm doing the verification from my mobile. 1 second. It has sent a verification code in my email. Let me get it from there. Where is my verification code? Salesforce. Okay, this is my verification code. Copy and then verify my account. Username, you still can't log in. Okay, so my username basically is right. Let me see like if I this is my username, right? This is my username. Now let me log out and let me see how can I log in. So this is my username. Login. Now please enter your password. What is my password? That didn't give me any password. Verify my account. Okay, let's say I'm saying okay, I forgot my password, right? Now I'm going to put my username here. We have sent you an email, right? Let me see what email I got in my mobile. So they're giving me a link to verify, reset my password. So they're asking, okay, what is your pet's name? I'm going to say Mini. Continue. And what is your question? Username to verify, answer the security question, right? I didn't put any security question. So this is another problem. So this is, okay. So let's say that you come here, the first thing that you do, you try for free and you do not have to submit. You input this information, right? And then you do not click on it. Number one. This is the first test case. The second test case is, can you see this? When you come here, you have a login button. When you click on login button, you input the user ID, you verify the logo, you input the user ID password, and then you click on login. And then it will since you do not have the username, it will say, okay, your username is not correct, right? So you verify that error message. So this is two test case that you are working. So we will be doing these test cases by using what is called TestNG framework. So here, let's say that I'm going to create a new project. Let me close this code here. File, new. Actually, I will be like, my recording is becoming too long. So let me just stop recording and start a new recording so that it will be a shorter recording.